Of all the movie soundtracks out there, Pocahontas is my number one. It's just so beautiful. It combines mystery of elements, the native sounds, and even suspense, romance into this complex, beautiful melody. And I'm going to show you why I love this soundtrack. Let's analyze it. Apart from the wind element that appears throughout the movie, for me, the biggest element of the soundtrack is the drums. The drums is what carries the soundtrack into all these different spheres. So obviously you have the native drums, and then you also have the English colonizers' drums. And then you also have the drums of war, which is the climax of the movie. So whenever you see Pocahontas' dad in the scene, there's always this soft kind of drum behind him. And when it's Radcliffe and his army of men, the drums are a little bit harder. And even in the song Savages, which I think it's an amazing compilation of both types of drums, that's when you hear the contrast between the two sets and how they're able to contrast each other, but at the same time complement each other. And which is the irony of the song, each calling each other savages. And of course, we have to talk about the Pocahontas theme. Colors of the Wind is probably the most important and famous song of this soundtrack. It won an Oscar. Vanessa Williams sang it. And from what I read, it was the first song written for the movie, and they based the whole soundtrack from that. The pop version is pretty simple, but I like that they incorporate a little bit of nature elements when they did the movie version. For example, in the beginning of the song, there are the drums again, and she sings, "You think that I'm an ignorant savage." This is her theme, and that's obviously the motif for Colors of the Wind. But she has another one in Just Around the Riverbend, which is kind of has the same polyphonic notes. What I also love about this theme is that she has the happy version and she also has the sad version, which is similar to what I said in my Hunchback of Notre Dame video when I analyzed the soundtrack, that Quasimodo has his happy version and sad version, and the bells also have their happy motif and sad motif. It's done by the same composer, so I'm pretty sure it's his style. So this is the happy one. And then her more mysterious sad version is... This theme usually comes whenever there is a pensive moment or she starts doubting herself. It's a little bit more introspective. And it's just so mysterious and beautiful. I love her sad theme. There's another recurring theme, motif, throughout the movie, which is Grandmother Willow's song, Listen to Your Heart. Wait. Listen with your heart. Wait, is it? Listen with your heart. Not that one. Man, this is a motif that is super odd, strange, but so memorable. It works in so many levels, and it's haunting because it appears in various parts of the movie. And this, it almost reminds me of the undulating movements of the wind. From what I read, her mother represents the wind, and she even sings in these songs, "Listen with your heart." Wait, listen to your heart. Listen with your heart. Listen with. Listen with. Man, I really keep confusing with that song. I think it's Bonnie Tyler. And there's a romantic motif played throughout the whole soundtrack. It's the love theme for Pocahontas. They ended up cutting it because when they did a test audience, the kids felt it was a boring scene. If I Never Knew You is a beautiful song. It's funny because it's very pop. And I never knew it was If I Never Knew. I didn't know it was pop sounding until I listened to the soundtrack. It blends so well into the rest of the soundtrack, and this theme always appears when Pocahontas and John Smith are together. I thought our love would be so beautiful. Somehow we make the whole world right. I never knew that fear and pain could be so strong. I don't think people give the last song credit, Savages Part 2, because it combines all of these elements, all of these songs into this climax. They combined Grandmother's Willow's theme, Savages, of course, If I Never Knew You, Colors of the Wind, Steady as the Beating Drum, a little bit of, yeah, they do also Just Around the Riverbend. This is when she's talking to Miko and Grandmother Willow. He's trying to find the compass for her. When she has the epiphany, you are introduced to Grandmother's Willow thing. It goes into the beating drum. And like I said in the beginning of the video, this is when both drums are combined to make this explosive finale. So this is my analysis of the Pocahontas soundtrack. It is so beautifully made. I can't give enough credit. It still haunts in a good way in my memories, and I will always have a soft spot for this sound. Check it out. I don't know where you're going, and I don't know why. So listen with your